Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. You know, I've been kind of on a little bit of a online shopping spree these past few days, which is normally not what I do at all. Like recently, I just bought a office chair. I bought a phone case. And I bought a new audio mixer for my Xbox controller. Two of those things I did not need at all. One of them I did, which was the office chair. That's actually coming in today. So I'm excited about that. The phone case I did not need at all. I mean, if you really think about it, we don't really need phone cases. Just be careful with your smartphone and you won't need a case. But cases look appealing. Some of them look pretty cool. Some look sturdy. Maybe you actually want to protect your phone. Maybe if you're a clumsy person, you should probably have a case on your phone. The phone case that I just bought it, I got it today, is silicone. And, you know, it's supposed to help with drops and, you know, better cushion for when your phone takes a tumble, when you take a spill or something like that. And, you know, my phone is a 14 Pro Max. I love my phone, and it's a white phone. You know, I got the white variant, or the silver, as they call it on their website. And I also, I decided, you know what, why don't I just match? I'll get a matching phone case, and I'll get it white as well. Well, I have not had a silicone case in quite some time, and I forgot that these fuckers actually are magnets to lint. Dust, dead skin, whatever the hell you want to call it, dander, hair. They're pretty much a magnet to it. You know, as soon as I put it in my pocket and I took it out and I looked in the bag and I saw specks of dust, and I was like, holy hell, did I make a mistake? I bought a white silicone case for something that's going to be in my pocket for 65% of the day. Just going to be in my pocket, collecting dust, getting dusty, getting dirty. And I was like, yeah, white looks good. White looks fantastic. Here I am. Not a very good purchase. Not a very good purchase at all. But I didn't stop there. No, like I told you, I went on and I bought a mixer for my Xbox controller. Mainly so I can give the older one that I have to my brother, which works fine, by the way. I'm not giving him a broken one. I'm just giving him, I'm upgrading mine to get a new one for myself to give my old one to him. Because I saw it on Amazon. I'm like, you know what? These things are actually pretty good. If you are plugging in your wired gaming headset into the controller, might I suggest getting a mixer, whether it be through any, brand that makes headphones. I got mine by Turtle Beach because I know how to use them, and I think that they're pretty good, actually. They actually they enhance your audio when you're gaming. You can boost up the volume, you can turn up the bass, you can balance out the chat, and then the game audio pretty easily. So, it's a good purchase. I think, 3 out of 3 are pretty good purchases. Even though one collects lint, when it's clean, the phone looks pretty nice, I gotta say. As much as I would have probably researched it a bit more, that how much it collects dust, I would have been probably chosen a different color. But, it is what it is. But like I said, I've been, swiping through Amazon, Walmart. I've just been looking through other sites of what to buy, because I just feel like, it's so easy just to add to cart and hit just pay, and it's going to be here, in a matter of days, and I'll be honest, I was kind of disappointed about when the mixer was going to come in, because I purchased the mixer and the phone case on the same day, which is about a couple days ago actually. The mixer won't be here until next week. And it's a tiny little thing like that. And I was like thinking like, wait a minute, whatever happened to Amazon Prime? You know, like this case came in within 2 days and this little mixer can't make the trip? I was like, wait, where did this even come from? You know how sometimes you gotta, look and read the description of where or like what kind of company is sending you this mixer. Maybe they're out of stock, maybe they haven't gotten any in yet, or maybe it's a third party. I just went with the one that had the most the best star rating. I was like, you know what, that's going to be the one I'm going to get because that one looks promising, and I just picked that one. With the chair, thank God I did a little bit of research and I checked out the chairs and all that, and I previously purchased this one before for my brother as a gift, and I had sat in it a few times. I'm like, you know what, that was a good chair. Maybe I'll get the same one because that was a nice feeling chair, and I needed one anyway, because the chair that I have, dear God, I've had that for years. Like the support is pretty much gone. It doesn't really stick up when you elevate the chair. It just kind of gradually after time just kind of lowers and lowers and lowers, and it just gets annoying and it's creaky too. And I'm like, you know what? I just need an upgrade, and I spent about a cool $185, and that was on Prime Day. I used a coupon that I got with it, and it came out to $185, flat for the chair. And I was thinking to myself, like, you know what? This is a good find, good purchase. It was already on sale because of Prime Day. Then I used the coupon. I was like, hip hip hooray! Like, this is lit. I pretty much won, that day, And I'm not usually, like I said, a big online shopper, but I can see why people can get addicted to it because it is quite fun. I've been also perusing other stores, like I said, Walmart. I've been looking at Nike, Adidas, because I'm also in the market for some new shoes that I don't necessarily need, but I would like. I got a few pairs of shoes that I wear here and there, but I wanted some more athletic shoes. Athletic shoes to walk around. Sometimes I don't want to put on Vans to go to the store. Sometimes I don't want to put on my Converse to go to, something quick outside. Maybe I just, my athletic shoes right now are kind of old, and I'm thinking like, you know what? Maybe I'll get like a couple pairs. Maybe one Nike, one Adidas, because I've been eyeballing some different shoes from those two brands, and I'm like thinking like, sheesh, those will look good. They're athletic, so they're like comfortable. They're like good for like, doing recreational activities. Of course, I'm working out now, so I could use those at the gym. And, I'm just thinking to myself like, hey, why not? I got that app for a reason. The only thing that's, that kind of scares me about buying stuff that's like, that clothing items, like clothing, shoes, shirts, pants, shoes, like that stuff is, I do not want to purchase stuff like that and it be like, it's too big, or it's too small, fucked up, should have went a size bigger, should have went a size smaller. That internal struggle, the first world problem of today of online shopping is not knowing whether it's going to fit or not. My sister also does a bit of online shopping as well, a lot more than I do. And she's purchased some items in the past, like that she's got to return and repackage. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, you know what? I'm the person who doesn't really like to put a whole lot of effort into things that should not have that much effort in the first place. Shopping for clothing has very, very little effort of when you're actually doing it. But the process of returning, I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of complicated. It's kind of tough. You have to actually print out a label to send it somewhere. You got to get a box. If you didn't already throw the one that it was shipped to you away, you got to find a box. You got to go to either the post office, or UPS or FedEx or whatever, and then you got to ship it all the way back. So you can see my dilemma of like how I would like to do the online shopping for clothing, but at the same time, different companies of different products of shoes and clothing probably have run different sizes than what I'm used to. So you can kind of see the dilemma here of why someone like me who enjoys online shopping and the convenience of it, and also like the it's like a mini Christmas. You order something for yourself, maybe you're working all day, you come home from work and it's there, you're like, oh my goodness, I forgot. Happy day. Like, it's such a good feeling of online shopping. It's also good in person as well, but when you're doing it online and it comes in after a few days, sometimes it might take up a while, maybe a week or so, and you get home and you're like, oh, happy day. I got my thing. Yay. I would rather do that for the rest of my life than actually go to a store and purchase it right then and there. As long as I could avoid the sizing fiasco. If there was a way that in modern day technology that we can virtual reality try on a clothing, like a shirt or something, and it'd be able to tell us if it was going to fit you or not. Like scanning your body, scanning your foot, if it was going to be able to fit your foot or not. How much room you would have. Would you have wiggle room? Would you be able to, breathe in the shirt? Is the shirt going to be too tight, too loose? If we could narrow down and really nail down that science to make clothing shopping much more easier than it already is, because it's already super easy. But if we can iron out those little details of, wait a minute, what if it doesn't fit? That lingering fear that everybody has when they do go online shopping. Because let's be honest, let's be real. That is a fear that I think everybody has. And I have it too, don't get me wrong. And that's why I avoid that type of stuff that I buy. Clothing and shoes. I just avoid it at all costs because I don't want to be let down and I don't want to be in the position where I got to return it. That's dreadful. That's not what I signed up for. Okay? So if that part of the technology was smoothed out, I would never go to another store again probably because it would not beat the feeling of like that mini Christmas when your packages arrive. Oh, and it's for you. Remember when you were a kid and you got a package in the mail and it was like, a pretty decent sized package. Now, as a kid, you are always in like the mode of like, oh, I love gifts. I want a present. I want this. I want that. And you always thought to yourself like, hey, what if this is for me? This will be cool. Is it this? Is it that? No, it's just your dad's medicine, or it's your mom's medicine, or it's somebody's, something that's not important, or it's like, nope, not for you, for me. And it's like, dang, I always had those moments when I was a kid where, is this for me? And it wasn't. I'm pretty sure like the one time in my life where it was an actual surprise, it wasn't really a surprise because I had my aunt buy it for me because she wanted to buy me a gift. And I was like, get me this one. And she bought it. It came within a few weeks. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is my gift. But I already knew what it was. So at that point in my life, the whole like surprise, look at, there's a package, is it for me, was already gone. So I never really got that. I never really got that experience to be surprised by a package like that when I was much younger. But that was back then when there wasn't a whole lot of packages being shipped to your house. Like I said, it was mainly for my parents, like maybe some medicine or something like that. It wasn't like clothing. Because back then when I was young, online shopping was not as popular as it was today. You think about it, you can get some pretty good deals all over for every site, and some services could get you your product within 2 days. I know I've seen online that Amazon sometimes Some items are same-day shipping, same-day delivery, which is insane to me because we all know that Amazon's a giant mega corporation, right? It's massive. Most people use Amazon than any other store out there. Walmart, Target, you name it. Amazon is some people's bread and butter. That's what they do. That's what they've been doing since it got popular that way. And that's all they've been able to do. That's all they do. It's so convenient, which it is. It's so easy to use. I mean, the price for Amazon Prime is pretty expensive. I'll give you that. It's like I think 140 now, 120, something like that. It's definitely more than 100. I remember when it used to be 100. I was like, that's quite a bit. But it is a year of 2-day shipping and Amazon Prime Video as well. And you get stuff shipped and all that, but it's like it's kind of a lot of money for an annual bill. But at the end of the day, I don't know what basic Amazon shipping is like today. Most things are 2-day shipping. Bigger things might take quite a bit more time. Things that are out of stock might take a lot more time. Third party stuff, yada yada yada. But basic stuff, like a phone case, it's just one of the most basic things you can get on any store, anywhere that you go shopping. A phone case is pretty common for stores to have. And that's pretty universal that in this country we all pretty much use phone cases, whether it's iPhone, Android, whatever. We all pretty much have cases. We've been conditioned by these companies that you need a case to protect your device because you paid a lot of money for that. You need to protect it. Some people, like myself included, I have actually paid for the insurance on my phone. Apple Care, I think it's what it's called. I paid for that along with a phone case, so I'm double covered. I should have no fear of breaking my phone by accident. Now, sometimes I think that I should break my phone by accident so I can get a new phone. If it's something that's, major, something that's you can't really fix it, they'll send you a new one. So I don't really actually think about it that much, but I do kind of have it in the back of my head. If this thing gets kind of, messed up and it breaks, I'll be able to get a new one pretty much for free. Brand new spanking phone. So it kind of creeps into my mind, But back to Amazon Prime, though. I don't really know the experience of basic Amazon because I, for one, have had Amazon Prime for at least 8 years, maybe even more, that I've used Amazon Prime. And it's been a joy ever since. I can't think of anybody that I know that doesn't have Amazon Prime. It's just pretty much like a conditioned thing that you all have. If you're going to be shopping on Amazon, you're going to be buying stuff. And what if you decide to make that your primary store to buy stuff? They even sell groceries on Amazon Prime. They sell utilities, toiletries, and all that stuff. They sell pretty much everything there you can buy. I don't understand why anybody would just go with basic ass Amazon. Maybe it takes a week just to get some grapes. Maybe some towels. It'll take 2 weeks. And at that point, it's why would I want to wait when I can spend this $140 annually fee and get this shit back within 2 days when I ordered it? It's just living in modern day with modern day technology. We can have stuff delivered so fast. Imagine when they start using drones to do that. When they finally start using drones, because now I'm not sure 100% if drones are currently being used by Amazon. I'd have to do some research on that. But there's been some concepts that I've seen how they would work. Essentially, the drone would just kind of zoom all the way to your house from wherever distribution center or wherever center that is, filling up trucks. Maybe they have a couple little posts out besides the distribution centers where they dock all the drones and all that, and they load the drone with one package or however many that they can carry, zoom it all the way to your house, drop it off, and zoom all the way back. Wouldn't that be crazy? I would like to see that actually happen in real life, because I have seen concepts, animations of how it would work. It looks freaking badass. It looks incredible. And that would be piloted by probably somebody from their headquarters or something like that. And it just seems so seamless, so easy. It's like, damn. I think that the future is pretty much right there. And that when that really takes off, and that is like the primary way that Amazon delivers stuff to your house, we would be in a new era. Imagine they just completely get rid of like drivers and cars that way. Because is Amazon going to fully become electric vehicles only? Or what if they get this, instead of having cars on the road, instead of having trucks, they just move to a drone-only service where they can fly your stuff to you, everything you want. You can order a TV, and they will have a gigantic-ass drone that flies to your house and delivers your TV right then and there. You got no issue. There it is, and then it's gone. No traffic, no having somebody to walk all the way with the TV to your porch. No, the drone is so smart because it's being piloted by an expert at drone flying, and they deliver it to you without even having to walk up your lawn. They just, zoom down, drop it off, zoom out. That's it. Wouldn't that be incredible? Wouldn't that be insane? Could you imagine like the drone traffic control of that whole thing? Even the air traffic control. Let's be honest. If you buy a drone now, you have to like alert the police. I think even like the FAA that you have a drone operating in that area, because the drones can fly so high that they can be tracked on radar. And then like if they're not aware about it, and you're flying your drone in an unrestricted airspace or a private airspace, you can get in some big trouble. You can get a lot of big trouble. Like, that's a possibility. Somebody could possibly fly a drone, and if air traffic control does not know about it or is not aware about it, they'll be like, what is this? What are we doing? What's going on? Is anybody out there that's not supposed to be out there? They talk to this airport, that airport, maybe the headquarters of another airport, and it's like, yo, what is going on? Who is flying this? That's another thing that you're going to have to, that I think is a bigger wrinkle. Let's be honest, as cool as it does sound, that Amazon could possibly just fly stuff via drone to your house. That sounds like there's a lot more hurdles than just driving trucks on the road, than just driving vans on the road. It sounds a lot more complicated and a lot more stuff to get through in order for that to work, if that makes any sense. Now, I don't know if you have to fly super low with a drone. Maybe you'd have to fly at a certain altitude in order to not be picked up by the radar, maybe a certain speed, maybe take a different path. Because I'm pretty sure, now, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure this is how air traffic works. If you wanted to fly in an airplane, right, and you wanted to fly, let's say, from California to New York, or California to Dallas, Texas, I'm pretty sure that not every single plane that you take can go make a straight shot from, let's say, Los Angeles to Dallas, Texas, one way, and that's it. I'm pretty sure that's not how it works, and that you have to go like one point here, take a left here, go around this route, meet up with this route. and maybe like do a couple dings and dangs, couple different airports, depending on what kind of flight you got, and then go that way. It's not just like a straight, simple shot. I don't think so, because if it were like that, I don't know if we would have had, if people would just collide, with other planes, if it was just at random. Like, oh, we have to go northeast. Boom, bada bing, bada boom, right there. Just fly that way. I don't think that's how it works, I'll be honest. I think they got to go like flip around, flip some U's, go down this way, make a stop here, take a left, turn at this side, catch up on this. It's not that stupid, but like I don't think that it's as simple as we possibly think. Because like there's specific routes that pilots must take. Now, again, this is just basic knowledge that I kind of, have not necessarily really dove into, but I have seen certain documentaries, certain things on YouTube of how stuff works. How planes travel from point A to point B. It ain't as simple as what you think. What I thought too. I thought you could just do a straight shot. Boom, right there. I'm pretty sure my trip to Hawaii back when I was a really young kid was not straight from, just from California to Hawaii. Pretty sure we had to take one plane to San Francisco, and then the next plane to, pretty sure it was Hawaii, that island, and then another plane to Kauai, where we actually stayed. So 3 planes. One to get to San Francisco to Hawaii, the big island, and then Hawaii to Kauai. So 3 different planes to get to one island, which I guess you can't just take a straight shot. I didn't know that. I thought you could, but I guess not. But I've heard people that you can do that it is possible. But I'll be honest, I'm not the most smartest when it comes to airplane traffic control and stuff like that. I think that's, more for the experts. Not to say I don't know anything. I know certain things. But stuff like that, I'm not necessarily sure if that's how it works. But, what do I know? How come airplanes don't go faster than they did 30 years ago, 40 years ago? I think I read something like that airplanes are actually going slower than they used to. Why would that even be? I'm not even sure why. Maybe because of the price of fuel? Is it inflation? Is it maybe the lack of employment, at these airports or something like that? Is it the fact that we're carrying too many people? Maybe we haven't upgraded the plane's engines, jets. I don't know. I don't know what would cause for planes to travel slower than they did 40 years ago. Is it the routes that we take? Are we just trying to charge them more money by, connecting flights and shit like that? I don't even know what a connecting flight is. I have not been on a plane in 20 years. I would say at least 20 years. So I'm like the not an expert, like I'm saying, but it's just past experiences and what I've heard, of air travel nowadays. Even though that air travel, most people are afraid of it. A lot of people are afraid of getting on planes. Rightfully so. You're in the air. You should not be in the air. As a human being, it is unnatural for you to be that high up in the sky. And you being up there because you're so vulnerable, you're not supposed to be up there. Human beings do not have wings. So it's unnatural for us to be up in the air. We made it natural, though, with machines and technology. Pretty brilliant, if you ask me. But we definitely should not be in the air. It is unnatural. And where was I going with this? Maybe we just, we're still kind of like, working out all the kinks on how to get from point A to point B faster. What I would say is, let's update the plane. Maybe we get like a supersonic jet that goes so fast that it doesn't take that long to reach anywhere. That way we really upgrade the experience of flight and of flying. And, here's my point. Air traffic, air travel is actually so much safer than driving on a freeway, highway, or even just driving to your destination. Statistically, it's more safer. There's a lot more things that can happen on your way from LA to Dallas via car than via plane. Of course, you hear about the airport stuff, more because that's what makes the news. But don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things that could happen on that road trip to Dallas. You got to stop for gas. Is there going to be an accident? Traffic? Every traffic jam that you've ever been in, every traffic stop, every detour, every construction thing that's happening on the road is just an elevated risk for an accident because people are slowed down to maybe a halt. They're pissed off. They're late. They want to get home. What if their AC's not working? They can't think straight. They're tired when they shouldn't be. It's just a big pool, a big stat of something could go wrong at any second, and I could be a part of it. I don't normally think of the bad things that could happen while driving normally today, but it's always in the back of my mind, okay, whenever it gets a little, testy, people get a little testy on the road, I do kind of play it more safe. I'll kind of stay back a little bit depending on what's happening. If I notice somebody seems like they're drunk at the wheel, I will definitely be I'm not getting into no accident today, bro. And then you can see other people too. They notice it. They're just stay back. Everyone's we're all in this together right here. This guy looks like he's plastered on the road. Let's just stay back. Thank Christ I have not been in a drunk accident, knock on wood, or a victim of that, knock on wood. Don't drink and drive. But it's always something that kind of pops into your mind when somebody looks a little suspicious at the wheel, that they should not be driving at that moment. I was watching a documentary, actually. It's called UFOs, Investigating the Unknown. It was on Disney Plus. Heard about it. And it was pretty recently released documentary. Came out this year, actually. 5-parter, about 4 episodes in. And you know me, I'm very caught up within the world of UFOs. I've been watching interviews, documentaries, hearings, stuff that might be, coming out within the near future about revealing things. Whistleblowers. I've been watching all this stuff. And within this documentary, it kind of goes into detail of how this entire essentially obsession with UFOs started and pretty much where we're at the moment with the situation. And it's interesting because, we all kind of know the story about how these all kind of started becoming mainstream, becoming, popular with the Roswell, New Mexico incident. And then we were there talking about, of course, that kind of stuff and how it's been, how it's been viewed, I guess, in the public. And I'm not completed with the documentary yet, but the whole gist of it is how now you could talk about UFOs. It is not such of a subject where you would avoid like you would back then. Today is a different story. People are talking about it. People are concerned about it. People are aware about it, and people want to know. And this isn't just government officials who have been also echoing what people and the public are saying too. It's yo, what is going on? But they are trying to find the truth within all this. What is it that we see? What is it? And, in the documentary, they had mentioned that films were inspired by events that were happening within this whole UFO craze, like with J. Allen Hynek and Jacques Vallée, people who were trying to find answers and trying to hear more people talk about their encounters with UFOs and what they've seen within, what they've claimed that they see, that they think that is a UFO. So many sightings, so many stories that have been shown to the news, and that there's footage of it, but everyone kind of makes a mockery and doesn't really think about it, doesn't just ignores it, all this time. And, when you get that type of stuff, Hollywood kind of dips into it because this looks interesting. This looks like something can make a good story, something cool. And along that road, Steven Spielberg, made a movie called Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and I had never seen this movie. Never seen it in my life. Heard it was really good, about aliens. You know how much I love aliens. I want to believe. I do believe. But I was like, I've never seen this, and I heard it was pretty good. Let me give it a watch. So I stopped this documentary because I'm like, let me see what this is about, because they actually have J. Allen Hynek in the film. He's also one of the producers and consultants on the film. Like, Spielberg was like, get over here. Like, this is interesting stuff. I want to make a film about it. This film should have a consultant. And he's actually in the film too. He's like in it for like one scene, like one frame, but he's in it. And you can tell too. And when I saw it, I was like, oh shit, they actually got him. That's him. Cool. But when I watched the film, and I won't spoil the entire thing, but I'll spoil a major thing. So, this character that they follow, played by Richard Dreyfuss, was actually underneath a UFO, close, very close. He looked up at it. Everything was like fucking going bananas. The car was turned off, and it was like the metal was like acting all weird. Things were shaky, and he looked at it and he saw it. And after that, he kind of had this vision of like a plateau that he kept drawing. He was making sculptures. He was building like this giant thing in his house that looked like this plateau. He was fixed on this plateau like it was burned into his brain. And he figured out that it was an actual location in Wyoming. That, the UFO implanted this vision or this object that he desperately needed to see for himself. So he goes to this plateau. And in the midst of this, the military knows about this as well. And they have figured out that the coordinates that they've been receiving from these aliens point to this plateau in Wyoming. But of course, Richard Dreyfuss gets it in a more alien type way, that they planted that image in his brain. Like, you need to go there. You need to see this for yourself. So he goes over there. The military's already there. But in the movie, the military hatches a plan. They're thinking to themselves, we gotta, we're onto something here. We could have some contact. Let's try to make contact with these people, these aliens, because they are here and they're going to be at these coordinates. But we cannot have anybody see this. So they hatch a plan where they're going to fake that nerve gas was released in this area, and it has a 300-mile radius of where it's affecting people and animals, right? So the military is able to evacuate 300 miles radius worth of people in Wyoming, stages fake dead animals on the street, on the roads, in the fields, to scare the public to actually evacuate that area. And Richard Dreyfuss is able to get in because, the scientist was able to find him, and they kind of like think that he has seen what they're trying to achieve, get the aliens there at that location. And they're like, well, they should be here. But as they're doing that, as they're trying to vet these people, they're like, yo, that whole gas thing that the army's trying to pull on you is fake. There is no nerve gas in the area. Everything's cool. This is fake. They're faking this, so you won't see what they're actually trying to do here. And just that alone blew my freaking mind, because it makes total sense, and it links up with things that people have seen, like Roswell, where one day they said that it was a UFO, crashed UFO, flying saucer. The next day, they changed the headline to, nah, it's a weather balloon. We're just kidding. It was a weather balloon. That was what was happening this whole time. Like, that part in the movie, even though it's a movie, but it's like, damn, that's something that the military would definitely do. 100%. They would definitely fake something in order to hide what they were really doing. Of course they would do that. But I was just thinking to myself, like, wow, that's pretty crazy that they just faked out an entire region of people, communities of people within 300 miles that, oh yeah, we are, there's a leak of nerve gas that is killing livestock. And they had fucking dead cows, dead sheep. They planted them everywhere to scare them, like, oh yeah, you better get out of here because this is a real thing. But they're like, nah, it's fake. This bullshit. It's all been staged. They just killed these animals and put them there to make it look like it was real. But I was thinking to myself, like, you know what? Yeah, I could definitely see the U.S. Army or any government, for any country to do something like that just so that they can hide what was really happening. I thought to myself, like, within that documentary, there's other instances of where military officials, military higher-ups, generals, who are like, even like governors. The governor of Arizona, I think at the time, were in 1997, 96, I think, where those famous lights over Phoenix lights. In this documentary, there's footage, of him like a couple days after addressing the public, making a mockery out of what they see, saying pretty much saying like, now it's fake, bullshit, you don't got to worry about anything. He's in the documentary years later saying that, yeah, oh, I saw it too. Like, I should not have done what I did because, back then, talk about UFOs, you're going to get ridiculed. You're going to be called insane. You'll be called a kook, a crazy person. You won't be taken seriously. Your reputation would be destroyed, essentially, because like it also follows a journalist who covers UFOs and has broke the stories in the New York Times, the one back in 2017, which really brought everything into fruition and brought everything back up to where it is today, kind of ignited that flame again. And it is fascinating how, she was like, before this, she would be like, yeah, I'm a journalist and I write, but I don't want to tell you what I write about because they'll make fun of me. Like, holy shit, that is insane. Like, if you think about it, the existence of UFOs, right? Let's just say that they are real, right? This many people have seen them. Regular people, civilians, fighter pilots, military fighter pilots, commercial airline pilots have seen these now. Just ordinary people have seen them. There's been government officials that have worked at nuclear bomb silos where they say that they lose control of their missiles because this thing was over the silo and it deactivated the bombs. That are saying like, oh yeah, I've seen something. And then for, the officials, right, the government, the politicians, the army, Navy, whatever, to be like, you saw nothing. You tell people that you saw nothing because you didn't see a damn thing. And no one's going to believe you. Like, talk about like the ultimate gaslighting of all time. Hey, yo, officer, I saw a UFO. No, you didn't. You're going to shut up right now because you didn't see shit. And you're going to tell everybody that you didn't see anything because you did not see nothing. No, I was there. It was 100% there. No, you did not. You will sign this right here where you say that you cannot say anything. And if you do, everybody's going to think you're a whack job, an idiot, and a crook. Like, what? That's crazy. But then the documentary kind of goes into saying why it kind of does make sense that they were hiding the UFOs. And because these were popping up in the late 40s, the 50s, there on out. What else is happening in that time? The Cold War. The Cold War, everyone was on edge. People were trying to develop weapons, fast and furious, trying to be, one-up Russia, make sure that we were stronger. And the fact that, everyone's on edge and people didn't know what it was, and we didn't want to give away our secrets. Let's just say, what if we had in possession an alien spacecraft and we were trying to back engineer it and to make it, part of our arsenal, part of our weaponry? What if we did try to do that? What if we were trying to do that? And if we tell the public about this information, that Russia's going to know what we told them. Of course they are. What if that sends them into a frenzy? What if that sends them into be like, oh, well, we got some too? So it's all kind of, I understand where the secrecy was coming from, why it was there in the first place. But damn, man, these secrets, man, they're insane. They're crazy. And then that whole thing with Close Encounters of the Third Kind, lying about nerve gas in Wyoming, like, hold on, like, what else could they have lied about? If that, if they've ever done anything within that, magnitude and that spectacle of it being that big, dude, what else you think have they lied about? You think about things of like this, that, the other. What have they lied about? Because that, to me, even though it's a movie, it kind of brings you to think like, oh yeah, like I know it's a movie, but they would definitely do that if they were gonna make contact with fucking aliens. Of course they would. That if they didn't want you to know that, oh, they're gonna make damn sure that nobody is even close to that. And I mean, like, the ship was big, but it wasn't like 300 miles long. Like, no one is going to be able to see any of that. Any of that. And I have seen photos, grainy footage, all this shit. Like, why don't we have HD photos? And everybody has a smartphone. Everybody's got an iPhone out there. How come we don't have clear-cut footage of UFOs? Well, that is a question that I'd rather ask NASA and the government, because, motherfuckers, I've seen pictures that on the news of, the conflict in Russia and Ukraine, taking from satellites that are so clear that there's no way that you don't have one photo of an actual UFO, probably even clearer than what we have now, in HD, probably just sitting there in the sky. I mean, if you have those photos, you definitely have UFO photos, like 100% sure. Pretty much, like, I'm gonna put it out there, like, they have to have something. If you can get that fucking crazy HD shot of tanks on a road in Russia from a satellite in space, come on. Just put two and two together. They have to have it. It just seems like, once I saw that, I'm like, you have this? You tell me you have no photos of UFOs? I don't believe you one bit. And then every time it's brought up that, hey, well, you know what? Do you guys have anything about UFOs out there? Like, we have had zero confirmation, zero evidence, zero witnesses. Like, that is a lie. You're lying to me. It's like, damn, the lying has just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And you know what? When people lie about things, when anybody lies about anything, and you've been around people for a long time, around different people, day in and day out, these people, bro, these officials, these government agencies are all run by people. So if they speak a little too much than they should, you can tell when they're fibbing. You can tell. It is so easy. So that's why they don't fucking barely speak, because if they speak long enough, they'll be caught. They'll be like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Like, yeah, no shit. So yeah, pretty eye-opening, pretty confirmative. A lot of people from this documentary I've seen about. They got Lou Elizondo, David Fravor, James Fox, a lot of people that are popular within the UFO community, UFO fandom, UFO truth seekers. It's very popular. It's a very popular bunch that were in this documentary, put on by National Geographic on Disney Plus, by the way. So I don't think that they would just, sign on to do, their life's work and have people be like, yeah, that's fake. Why would I believe in that? And like, no, these guys have been within the public eye for a long time. I follow Lou. I follow Christopher Mellon, who's also in the documentary as well. All guys who seem to be very tuned into this stuff and very, very deep into it, that they are willing to talk about as much as they possibly can. And let's be fair, this is not just a quest to know the truth about this specific thing, but it's a quest to know all the truths that these guys have been lying to us for years, for decades, that they've been lying to us about all these things that have affected our way of living for decades, and we just don't even know about. This is the one thing that is probably the biggest thing that we will ever find out in our existence of humanity, but a thing that also, will affect our day-to-day lives. Let's just be honest about it. Like, if we know that aliens exist, if it is confirmed that aliens actually exist, it will change everything. Everything will change. Your entire reality will be shattered. Hopefully they're peaceful. It seems like they might be, but you never really know. All right, ended off with a review. Movie review time. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Now, if you guys haven't known, I've been a pretty big fan of Mission Impossible, specifically the last 4 films. Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, Fallout, Dead Reckoning Part 2. Been really loving these films. In my opinion, they've been a lot better than the recent James Bond films. Like, they have been incredible in terms of, the way that they're made, the energy behind the films, the performances, the acting, the stunts, the fights. Tom Cruise, dude, still got it. Tom Cruise is the man when it comes to making these type of movies. Like, it's going to be hard as hell to see him not, continue to be Ethan Hunt. When the time comes, like, that dude is Ethan Hunt. Like, that is one of his defining roles as an actor is Ethan Hunt, and making these movies so enjoyable to watch. Like, it is just so much fun to see him in this role. It looks like he's having fun every time he plays Ethan Hunt, and everything that they do, him and Christopher McQuarrie, the director, to bring every movie up a notch and make them more and more entertaining. Like, this movie was so freaking awesome. It was so freaking awesome. Everything about it. It had all the Mission Impossible moments that you love, that you get them from the beginning to end. It's just like, oh my God, this is incredible. And the characters, like I mentioned, Tom Cruise, but also Simon Pegg, Rebecca Ferguson, Haley Atwell, all these new additions that they have too. Vanessa Kirby is back. It's great. It's a fantastic movie. It's just a blast to watch. When that Mission Impossible theme comes on every single time, dude, it is heart pounding, heart racing, adrenaline. It is like, oh, we're in this shit, bro. Like, and I saw it in IMAX too. That movie was made for IMAX. Like, if you haven't seen it yet, it's going to be tough to get around to seeing it because this weekend's going to be Barbie and Oppenheimer dropping. Like, that's just shit, bro. Good luck. But if you can find an IMAX screen that will show Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, check it out because it's definitely worth it. Everything in that movie is filled to the grandiose, the sound, the music, everything about it was just breathtaking. Awesome movie. Like it definitely brings up, like I said, the franchise up a notch, and it gets real serious. There's some real stakes here, people. Real stakes that I was not prepared, to see in a film like this, because it seems like these films can go on forever. But they have to bring up the stakes. I mean, spoiler alert, in the last one, in Mission Impossible Fallout, they end up killing Alec Baldwin's character. That was a big one. That was like something that I did not expect. I'm pretty sure that the producers for that caught a break because Alec Baldwin is not in a very good light right now. They're probably thinking to themselves, oh man, thank God we killed that guy. Whew, this would have been rough if he was still involved with these films. But Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, fucking incredible. An awesome movie, great moments, great acting. My one gripe is, and it's not that big of a gripe, I'll be honest, but my one gripe is that it's a part 1 of 2. And that was my problem with Spider-Verse, and it's my problem with this one too, but it's not as big. And here, this is why. This movie, to me, while it is a part 1 of 2, it's made very clear that it is. And the movie itself, this movie, it still has a conclusion for this singular movie. It has a conclusion. The movie does conclude, and it's not left like a cliffhanger. Like, in my opinion, what Across the Spider-Verse did. Because I was aware that Spider-Verse was going to be part 1 when it was announced. It was said Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 when it was first announced. Part 1. And then they changed it. They changed it to Across the Spider-Verse and then Beyond the Spider-Verse. So I didn't know that if that meant it was a part 1 or if they kind of switched it up or what they did. I thought that they maybe have taken out the part 2 and maybe condensed it to make it a third movie. I don't know. I wasn't sure. But this one, right out of the gate, from when it was first announced to when it came out, it always said it said Dead Reckoning Part 1 throughout the entire film, from the beginning title to the end title. But still with the same thing. The movie had a conclusion, but you can still kind of tell that there's still more to come. And that, I think, is it's okay. It's not my favorite thing that they've been doing in these modern films with Spider-Verse and Mission Impossible. I still think that Dune Part 1 was, in my opinion, the best one to do it, because that one felt like it was just like a grand ending, but yet an opening to a new story. While this one feels like a good ending, a really good ending, and more to come, but like not to me as like grandiose as Dune was. They probably could have made this one film. Dead Reckoning could have been one film. I'm not too sure. I would have to see the second part for me to be like truly confirm, like, oh yeah, that's 2 films for sure. Like I don't know. That's something that I can't make. That's a call that I can't make yet. So I have to see part 2 first before I make that call. But as it stands, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, 9.1 out of 10. 9.1. I guess also because like you kind of go into it knowing it's a part one, so it kind of gives you a little like, okay, when they gonna cut it? Is it gonna be a cliffhanger? Is it gonna be what's gonna happen here? Are we gonna continue it? Is it gonna feel like a full movie? And it does. But there's also that thing like, oh, wait for the next one. That kind of lingers in you, and it's like, oh yeah, this stuff that was mentioned in here hasn't happened yet. Well, we gotta see this. And it's like, okay. But that was really good, though. It was like really, really good. The whole thing throughout was awesome. And yeah, it was cool. The bad guy to me was okay too. Like there was a bad guy that's introduced, and he's kind of a mixture of not a mixture, but he's kind of like a new bad guy, but an old bad guy. There's flashbacks in this movie of the bad guy. And I thought to myself, is this guy from the previous films? And I asked my brother because he's seen them all. And he's like, nope, he's not in the films at all. So I'm like, oh, okay. So they just kind of made that up in this film, to kind of give you a little bit of a build up to his character. I thought that was interesting. I thought that was kind of like, did we really need that? I don't know. But hey, it didn't ruin the film for me. So yeah, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, a 9.1 out of 10. It's not a perfect film. To me, Mission Impossible Fallout was a perfect film. That movie still is not only a perfect film, but a perfect Mission Impossible film. Perfect Mission Impossible film. And everybody in that was just incredible. So yeah, that's going to be it for me today, people. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Remember, you can find this podcast and all episodes of this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube at Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. This episode and all new episodes drop every Thursday morning. Make sure to like, subscribe, rate, review, comment, do all that good stuff. And yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next week.